Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Chris Hendricks. Never broke again. You know what it is. So, welcome back. Those who've been here before, if you haven't, we basically show you guys how we trade for learning purposes and stuff. So, today's video will be a sequence for, the Trendline Strategy Works. So this will be probably the fourth sequence. So I'm gonna move on to currencies and see what's happening. So I've been anticipating a huge buy with Australian dollar against the dollar. Reason being, I'm gonna show you because it seems like we are at the beginning of an uptrend. So if you zoom out, okay, to these areas, the current market, maximize my screen, so you can see we had sort of like a zone in these areas, sort of like your lowest low, if you want to call it that. And just look how the market got there to this lowest low. It got there correctively or in a descending structure, and you can see we have a series of 3 touches: first touch, second touch, and right now we are rejecting on the third one. And this is the daily, so just look at the rejection and the daily. It's at this double bottom. It is quite significant. You cannot miss this kind of rejection. You can see it has rejected in a daily, which validates the rejection itself. Like, okay, this is a valid rejection. So if we scale down to maybe the 4-hour time frame, okay, I'm gonna go down to the 2-hour time frame, work from there. So basically we can see the rejection or the pullback in the 2-hour time frame. It is quite an impulse, and you know what we say when we see impulses. The following thing is a correction. So we are waiting for the market to finish with the impulse and then start correcting. That's when we will be looking for opportunities to basically buy the market. So okay, sorry, let me just try using the previous market to illustrate what may happen with the market. So sorry, please give me a moment as I scale through the price. I'm kind of having hiccups. I just ate, now I'm drinking water, so please excuse that. So right here we have a nice impulse correction. So I'm just gonna use this part. So as you can see, we are waiting for the market to correct. And what I mean by correcting is this part right here. So this part has to go, this has to play out. The market has to go sideways for us to execute the buy, because we are not trying to take the risk entry at this point by entering the rejection itself. We're gonna wait the rejection to play out so we can wait or trade based off the correction that's gonna form right after the impulse is done. So basically this is our setup for Australian dollar against the American dollar, basically. So you should watch out for this one. And more confluence is that we are having a nice pattern here of this inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, that's gonna be a nice head and shoulders, but I'm just gonna remove that to make my chart look clean. So now I'm gonna move on to euro against the South African rand. What is happening with this one? Okay, so I'm in the daily. I'm just gonna focus on the current market. I'm gonna draw my structure from I'm gonna draw it backwards, and then the support, I'm gonna draw it the traditional way. So as you can see, we are having so today I'm just skipping through these lows and highs. You can put them, but I'm just gonna skip through those because they're becoming quite obvious, and it makes the chart look a bit messy. So I'm not gonna be eager on using those. So current price, the overall structure, you can see we had an ascending structure with a 1 2 3 touch, and then rejection to the downside. So it's basically a downtrend. So you should keep that in mind and look for patterns to the downside. Current price, you can see I'm gonna draw it in reverse. So you can see we are kind of having that structure, and so this is what we're looking at. I'm gonna go to the 30-minute time frame because I've already analyzed this, and I was looking at a flag, but then it seems like it might be too small. But then I was looking at this part just a few hours ago, and I predicted a sell around these areas. So it still hasn't passed the entry point, so the market just tried to go back to the entry point, but then right now it's rejecting. So this is what I'm looking at with Euro ZAR. But then most brokers that I use don't really have this pair, which is quite odd, but I'm just gonna move on from it. Those who have it, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I see, that's my prediction. So moving on to Great British Pound against the US dollar. So with this one, it's quite simple. Let me just remove everything. Simple, fast, straightforward. So for the nerds out there, you can draw your highest high and lowest low. Not my favorite thing to do, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. So second thing technically, since the first thing was drawing the lows and highs. So second thing is get your structure. That's what I'm looking at. So keep in mind that the support only has 2 touches, and we need the third one. So which means, right before I move on, and the resistance, you can see our last touch was here, which means now we are heading to the third touch on the lows. So you should probably look out for patterns that are to the downside. Let me just maximize my screen. As you can see, in the past we had a few patterns, so this was one of them. The second one, I saw this one, but yeah, this was the second one. And right now, the current price, we could be looking at something like this. I'm just not sure about, I'm not confident about it, but it could be a flag and a valid one. So as you can see, the price is basically going back up to the resistance, and a few things could happen from this point. First being the double top. So the price gets to this point, rejects off and starts selling off, right? So that's the first prediction. The price could basically just start like break this point basically, and then go back inside, create a nice 15-minute flag, and then just start selling off. But then we'll be looking at this one very closely. But then the overall movement is a downtrend. So just try to keep that in mind. So yeah, that is what we're looking at with the British pound against the US dollar. So the last pair I'm gonna be looking at is rather a weird one, which is the US dollar against Norwegian krone. I thought this was quite interesting because I don't really see people analyzing this one that often. As you can see, the structure doesn't, it's barely there actually. I don't see anything significant, so I'm just gonna zoom in and try to see what we have in the current times. So okay, I'm just gonna get the highest high, lowest low, and start selling and start trading within basically. So I'm gonna scale up, scale down to the 1 hour time frame and see what we have. As you can see, we are kind of having this nice structure in the 1 hour time frame. So if I zoom out for everything to fit, okay, it won't fit, so I'm just gonna move up one time frame. Now I am in the 2 hour time frame. So as you can see, this is our structure. We have the first touch, well, it barely touched, but then this is our second touch, and then the third one right here, and we had a huge impulse. And now we're kind of having a correction, and we're anticipating an upward movement from this point. So the next task is to basically figure out this correction. The easiest thing to do is to figure out the resistance, because that is quite straightforward. And now we have to look at the bottom. Basically a few things could happen. So first thing is this zone right here could be significant enough for the price to get there and start buying. So that is the first prediction. And if I go to the 30-minute time frame, you're gonna see the second zone, which is right here where the market is. So the market could reject where it is currently and start buying. So those are the two predictions. Um, Remember, this is not financial advice, so I'm not saying you can enter where the market is currently at. I can only tell that to my clients or students. So this is what I'm looking at with USD Norwegian krone. Basically, it's a bullish market according to my predictions. So that is my top 5 analysis, which will prove that Trendline Strategy works. So this is a sequel to what we've been posting recently about trend lines. So that is the video. Those who are gonna take my analysis and use them to trade, that is your decision to make. It's not advice. So you'll either cherish your wins or you'll suffer the consequences. But then this is just a simple video trying to teach people and not basically give financial advice. So once again, this was Chris Hendricks, a mentor from Never Broke Again. If you guys want mentorship, the details will be down in the description.
You get rid of her, run a fire down in Panama. Take a movie, but on cinema. No tapes, no cameras. No tapes, no cameras. I'm back in the studio. Damn, you know I'm so fucking yo. Damn, you know how to tell yo. Never some moving, big daddy yo. Diamonds be dancing on my teeth. You know I'm fresh, boy. Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna